Hello there. As we encountered previously, how diabetes started as a survival mechanism, which further spread across nations to make it a global issue. Let's get along to see another such disease, which erupted to save us from a yet known deadly disease, but later turned into a health hazard. Let's start this with a riddle. When I fly, I annoy. When I sit, my needle deploys. Did you guess? Who am I? Well, you guessed it. Mosquitoes. Worldwide, introduction of various mosquito species over large distances into regions where they are not indigenous has occurred through human agencies, primarily on sea routes, in which the eggs, larvae, and pupae inhabiting water-filled used tires and cut flowers were transported. They have also been carried by personal vehicles, delivery trucks, trains, and aircraft. These small insects have a huge list of diseases to spread, one of which is malaria. Ancient writings and artifacts testify to malaria's long reign. Clay tablets with cuneiform script from Mesopotamia mention deadly periodic fevers, suggestive of malaria. Malaria antigen was recently detected in Egyptian remains, dating from 3200 BC. Indian writings of the Vedic period of 1500 BC called malaria the king of diseases. In 270 BC, the Chinese medical canon known as the Neichen linked tertian and quartan fevers with enlargement of the spleen, a common finding in malaria. He blamed malaria's headaches, chills, and fevers on three demons, one carrying a hammer, another a pail of water, and the third a stove. Such an ancient, deadly disease. To save us from this evil, arrived a hero, which initially shined light. Have you heard of sickle cell disease? It is a genetic condition, widespread among the tribal population in India, where about 1 in 86 births are affected by it. Although there were some early reports of sickle cell disease in the late 19th century, the first time that the disease was referenced in literature was in 1910. Dr. James Herrick, an American cardiologist, discovered this anomaly of blood cells in a 20-year-old college student. Patient's blood showed irregular red cells, but what especially attracted attention was the large number of thin, elongated, crescent-shaped cells, similar to what was seen with Herrick's patient. In 1911, a 25-year-old female patient had been in medical care for several years, but had previously been diagnosed with a form of pernicious anemia. On undergoing blood investigation, it clearly demonstrated sickle hemoglobin cells. The third recorded case of sickle cell disease was in 1915. A 21-year-old female that once again demonstrated blood film that was indicative of this disease. The blood film of this patient's father was also examined. It was noted that while there were no abnormalities evident in the fresh blood sample, some abnormal cells were evident after a few days. This became the first crude test of sickle cell disease, and was the first time where genetic inheritance of the disease was suggested. Later in 1922, a 21-year-old male patient was the fourth case of sickle cell disease in published literature, and the first case that used the terminology of sickle cell anemia. After the fourth patient report was published, a consolidation period emerged. During this period, there were more patients noted, which strengthened the medical knowledge of the disease. At this time, the association between the sickle cell trait and increased resistance against falciparum malaria was also observed. Compared to people with normal hemoglobin, individuals with sickle cell have a 50 to 90% reduction in parasite density. In addition, the sickle cell genotype is underrepresented among children with severe malaria. Due to its protective effect against malaria, the sickle mutation may have been naturally selected in sub-Saharan Africa, where malaria is endemic and is one of the major causes of death. However, for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. Sickle cell anemia has its own manifestations and complications. However, in terms of combating malaria, it has proved its worth. Evolution will always destroy the weaker and favor the stronger. Hope you liked the video. Please like, share and subscribe for further such videos.